Kunja Vihari. Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Janam Vallabha Girivaranari. Jaya Gopi Janam Vallabha Girivaranari. Yashodanandana Vrajajananandana. Yashodanandana Vrajajananandana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaranari. Jaya Gopi Chandra Vallabha Girivaranari. Yashodanandana Vrajajananandana. Yashodanandana Vrajajananandana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajagacharya Stotra Sri Sri His Divine Grace C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Pimsaya Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shaimakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Mayapur Navadvipatam ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Jai Jamuna Mai ki Tulsi Devi ki Jai Bhakti Devi ki Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanandi. I couldn't find the book in the bookcase, so just bring me Prabhupada's copy. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda.
We're reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chapter 4, Ādi-līlā. Please chant. Sri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Sri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam. Tadrupasya vinirnayam. Balopi kurute shastram. Balopi kurute shastram. Drištva vraja vilasanam. Drishta vraja vilasanam. Sri Chaitanya Prasadena. Tadrupasya vinirnayam. Balopi kurte shastram. Drištva vraja vilasanam. Please chant.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Ladies.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Drištva vraja vilasinam. Shri Chaitanya Prasadena. Tadrupasya vinirnayam. Balopi kurute shastram. Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Tadrupasya vinirnayam.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Balopi kurute shastram.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Drištva vraja vilasinam.
Sri Chaitanya Prasadena.
Shri Chaitanya Prasadena.
By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tat of him. Krishna. Rupasya. Of the form. Vinirnayam. Complete determination. That doesn't mean determination in the sense of a strong will or willpower. It means a complete examination, a complete determination, like that. Mbala, a child, api, even. Kurute, makes. Shastram, the revealed scriptures. Drishtva, having seen. Brajavilasina, who enjoys the pastimes of Vraj. Translation and purport. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a foolish child can fully describe the real nature of Lord Krishna, the enjoyer of the pastimes of Vraj, according to the vision of the revealed scriptures. Please repeat. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a foolish child can fully describe the real nature of Lord Krishna. The enjoyer of the pastimes of Vraja. According to the vision of the revealed scriptures. Don't chant now. Ah, okay. Purport. One can ascertain. Hard landing. Hare Krishna. One can ascertain the meaning of the Sanskrit shloka only when endowed with the causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya. It's interesting that the child entered just as we're discussing that a child can understand. We'll see if she can understand. One can ascertain the meaning of this Sanskrit shloka only when one is endowed with the causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Sri Krishna, being the absolute personality of Godhead, cannot be exposed to the mundane instruments of vision. He reserves the right not to be exposed by the intellectual feats of non-devotees. Notwithstanding this truth, even a small child can easily understand Lord Sri Krishna and his transcendental pastimes in the land of Vrindavan by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshushan Militam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Shtapitam Jaina Bhuttale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Nandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvedam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Darshan Vishamana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakapatarubyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patinanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Prasadena Tadrupasya Vinirnaya Balopi Guru Te Shastram Drishtravraja Vilasana. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a foolish child can fully describe the real nature of Lord Krishna, the enjoyer of the pastimes of Vraja, according to the vision of the revealed scriptures. The best example, perhaps, is Srila Kavi Karnapur. As a baby and as a child, he exhibited the ability to describe the nature of Krishna. We'll discuss this in today's class. Krishna, the enjoyer of the pastimes of Vraja, is mentioned here. But Prabhupada says he reserves the right not to be exposed to our mundane vision or to our intellectual abilities. His name is Adhokshaja, which means that you have this Sanskrit alphabet, begins with A, ends with Sha, Adhokshaja. That's what that word refers to, the Sanskrit alphabet. You can form so many words, you can form so many sentences with the words, and you can attempt to use the language to explain God. But Krishna reserves the right of being beyond the reach of your intellectual capacities, even if you can command the whole alphabet and form all the words. You have to have the certain qualifications. Here the qualification is very simple in the sense that it's available even to a child. You just have to receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The mercy comes in the form of the mercy of his pure devotees who explain the Lord. Like we're reading the book of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and it's partly a product of contributions by other devotees like Srila Sarup Damodar, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. They provided the author of Krishnadas Kaviraj with notes about the life of Lord Chaitanya so that Krishnadas Kaviraj could compile the biography. And then it was handed down in the line of disciplic succession to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, who explained it to many people who had no contact previously with Vaishnava culture. So that's the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishnu. I want the verse. Mande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gododaya Pushpavant Chitrasanda Tamonador. That means that Chaitanya and Nityananda appeared on the east coast of India in the land of Bengal, like the sun and the moon simultaneously, with the desire and the mission to dissipate the darkness of ignorance. And they wanted this to happen all over the world. Srila Prabhupada made it happen. But of course we can ask, well, why isn't everybody aware of Krishna, the enjoyer of the pastimes of Raj? Why doesn't everybody accept this truth? And Prabhupada explains that in the purport, that Krishna's not interested in being exposed to non-devotees. He keeps his real nature confidential, just like, in the life of a very big man. Who's the president now of Belgium?
King Philip.
Hmm?
King.
There's a king.
King Philip.
King Philip, okay. So you might know about his public life. He might come out in public and meet the people. But about his private life, you're not going to know so much. So Krishna's like that. He doesn't reveal his private life. He lets people understand him as God in a general sense. Many religions proclaim that God is great. But how he's great, for that you have to find out how he deals with his devotees, what his activities are. There's so many activities. And this is a very important subject. Another devotee who was just a child, Prahlad Maharaj, he stressed the importance of understanding Krishna beginning from the tender age of childhood. Prahlad Maharaj said, Kumara Abcharat Pragyo Dharman Bhagavata Iha Nurlabham Manusham Janma Tadapi Adruvamartadam. Kumara means the tender age of childhood, when someone's just the age 1 to 5. At that time, he should use the human form of life right from the beginning to practice the activities of devotional service, because the human body is most rarely achieved. Human life is rarely achieved. It's temporary like other bodies, but it's meaningful, because in human life you can perform devotional service. And if you do just a slight amount, a small amount of sincere devotional service, you can achieve complete perfection. Your bank balance builds up. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Neha Bikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo Navidyate. There's no loss, there's no diminution. Once you've done something, you've done 1%, 2% of devotional service. That stays with you permanently. And then you can use that bank account. Prabhupada said it goes with you to another life. In the purport to the verse spoken by Prahlad, Prabhupada says one can practice modifying one's human activities so as to engage perfectly in devotional service. But modern civilization, which doesn't refer to the Vedic literature, modern civilization doesn't consult the Vedic literature. This civilization is so cruel to the members of society that instead of teaching children to become brahmacharis, it teaches mothers to kill their children even in the womb on the plea of curbing the increase of population. And if a child is saved, he or she is educated only for sense gratification. So Prabhupada condemns this. He says people are living like the cats and the dogs, like the animals, like the pigs, the camels, spoiling their human life. And Prabhupada's great mission, his Krishna consciousness movement, serves human society by teaching people to perform devotional service. And to put the principles in practice in their lives. This will free them from the fear of being degraded to an animal life in the next life. And the process is easy. You just have to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. When I read this verse a few days ago, that even a foolish child can fully describe the real nature of Krishna, I was a little skeptical, and I began to think about whether that's actually possible. I watched Narayan Bihari's grandson riding his bicycle, the second boy, the smaller boy, riding his bicycle up and down the street beside the parking lot. And I was thinking, how can this child fully describe Krishna? Then I thought of Nadia's son, Gopinath. 37 years ago, Gopinath was born. He's 37. And he was in the Juhu temple in Mumbai, India, with Nadia when I met him 37 years ago, just a little baby. Nadia was carrying him around. And now look at Gopinath. He can understand so much about Krishna. So in one sense, we can take the verse to mean that a small child can understand Krishna. It can mean such a birth in a family of devotees allows the child to learn and practice Krishna consciousness. But as I said at the beginning, we have some good examples of this. Kavi Karnapur is one example, and I want to talk about him and tell you about his pastimes as a baby and child. I'm going to do that, but let me just mention first, there's two concepts, Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas means something that has an immediate advantage, an immediate gain. You want to gain something immediately. Shreyas. And prayas means something that is a long-term advantage. You invest your time now, and the results will show up in the future, long-term. So you don't get the result immediately. So Prabhupada used to talk about this by using the example of children playing. They like it. They don't know what they're going to do. They're going to do something. They get together with their friends and they figure out how to play what they're going to do. And if you say, well, no, it's time for homeschooling. Now you have to sit down and we're going to read some books. Maybe they're not so enthusiastic because they don't know what's the immediate gain. But the parent knows, I have to teach children, otherwise they'll be uneducated, they won't succeed in life, they have to learn. So that's prayas. And Prabhupada said the children are more interested in Shreyas than prayas. when he was explaining, when Prabhupada was explaining that one shouldn't be so much interested in material enjoyment or shreyas, Prabhupada was saying you should be satisfied with material gains that are easy to attain. You shouldn't make so much endeavor for material enjoyment. Something's going to come to you as material enjoyment or happiness or profit or gain because of your activities in a previous life. Gain comes of its own accord, according to Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Gain comes of its own accord. And so does loss or unhappiness. You may not want to be unhappy or sick, but these things come of their own accord. And similarly, happiness will come of its own accord because of something we've done in previous lives. Therefore, when I was hearing about this as a student, as a college student, I was on the verge of entering an adult life. I had to make a decision. Am I going to find a particular occupation? Am I going to pursue an occupation and economic development like everyone? My father used to say, you know, you shouldn't be a dreamer. You should study in college so that you can get a high-paying job when you finish. And I was more interested in philosophy and history, and I also became a hippie. I became non-materialistic. Hippies were not interested in the materialism of their parents. So when I heard this philosophy of Krishna, that gain comes of its own accord, and you should just be satisfied with what you're going to get as a result of your past karma, I thought, this is the philosophy I want to follow, not the artificial economic theories that run the modern world. You know, capitalism or socialism, people have different ideas about how to become satisfied economically. But in my experience, the idea of working to earn money in order to spend money to enjoy just seemed so futile. And it was based on envy. It was based on wanting to have what other people had or what other people manufactured and sold. And you would see products in the stores and you would think, oh, I'd have to have that. So greediness and lustiness and envy, it's not a good position from which to lead your life. So that kind of shreyas, we shouldn't be very much interested in, and we should be interested in prayas, the opportunity to learn devotional service. So let's talk about Kavi Karnapur now. This was a special personality. He became one of the best poets in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. And he was blessed with poetic talent by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even before he was born, Lord Chaitanya was speaking with his father, Shivananda Sain, and Shivananda's same wife, his wife was pregnant. And Lord Chaitanya told Shivananda saying what to name the baby when the baby was still in the womb. He gave him the name Paramananda. Then the following year, Shivananda Singh was in Puri with the baby. And he introduced the baby to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya did something unusual. It even sounds like it's a little weird. He put his toe in the baby's mouth. I said once to the editor of Back to Godhead, why don't we have an artist do a painting of putting the toe in the baby's mouth? And the editor said, no, that would be a really weird picture to put in Back to Godhead. What's going on between the baby and Lord Chaitanya? Why is Lord Chaitanya putting his toe in the baby's mouth? Krishnadas Kaviraj mentions that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Well, that was explained by some of the acharyas. They commented on that. One of the acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is the most influential theologian in the Chaitanya tradition, after the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, Vishwanath comments that Chaitanya's toe invested the child with his poetic powers by giving him the essence of true poetry, devotional rasa. So let me repeat that. Vishwanath Chakravarti said that Lord Chaitanya gave little Kavi Karnapur as a baby the essence of devotional, the essence of true poetry, which is devotional rasa. He invested him with poetic powers by giving him the essence of devotional poetry, devotional rasa. So how did that play out? I'll explain how this played out. When the boy was a little bit grown up, a few years later, on one occasion, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repeatedly asked the child to chant the name of Krishna. You know, you say to children sometimes, chant Hare Krishna. But the boy did not chant. He did not chant Krishna's name. He remained silent, even though Lord Chaitanya was asking him several times, please chant. And his father, Shivananda Sen, was becoming embarrassed. My boy is not chanting. The Lord is asking him to. So his father attempted to induce him to say Krishna's name. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate companion, Swarup Damodar, explained what was going on to Chaitanya and the others. He said, you Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you've instructed this child to chant the name of Krishna. It's a mantra. And he therefore does not want to say the mantra in front of everyone. Just like when a devotee is initiated in the Krishna consciousness movement, the spiritual master gives him his beads and instructs him, you chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds on these beads. So he gives the mantra. So Swarup Damodar was saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving the mantra to Kavi Karnapur. And Kavi Karnapur didn't want to say it publicly in front of everyone. He was just reciting it within his mind. That's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, I've already told you that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that the toe of Lord Chaitanya invested the child with poetic powers. So these powers gradually became manifest. And here's an incident. A few days later, Lord Chaitanya asked Kavi Karnapur to speak, to say something. Upon which Paramananda Das extemporaneously composed a Sanskrit verse in the Arya meter. Shavaso Kuvalayam Akshmanor Anjanam Uraso Mahendramani Dhamma Vrindavana Ramaniyam Mandanam Akilam Hari Jayati. So he composed a poem. That's the proof that Lord Chaitanya gave him poetic powers. He was not yet educated in poetry. He hadn't gone to any school yet to study poetry, but he recited this verse. This verse is about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. The boy was about 7 years old, and that he could speak this verse was taken by those who were present as proof of the greatness of Lord Chaitanya's grace, the glory of his mercy on the child. They attributed this ability to Lord Chaitanya, that he gave the boy this power. So this verse he recited in Sanskrit means the following. It's a verse about Krishna and his devotees. Let's look at the first few lines. The blue lotus on their ears. So apparently someone has lotuses, some people have lotuses, blue lotuses on their ears. You know, we sometimes put a flower behind our ear. We carry a flower with our ear. So this is being described. The blue lotuses on their ears. Is it literal or is it a metaphor? We have someone here who's studied metaphors. Maybe he can help us. The blue lotus on their ears. We'll see. What else? The kohl on their eyes. Kohl means the mascara, the black ointment on their eyes. The lotus on their ears, the mascara on their eyes, and the sapphire necklace on their chests. What is that? The poem says, all glories to Hari, the entire ornament of the women of Vrindavan. So that's the poem. He's saying Krishna is the ear, the flower, the lotus on their ear, the cudgel on their eyes, the necklace on their chests. So let's look at it metaphorically. The lotus on their ears could be, Krishna is the blue lotus on their ears. He's what they want to hear about. It could be a metaphor, that means. The kohl on their eyes could mean that Krishna is all they want to see. And the sapphire necklace on their chest could mean, for example, Krishna's arms around their necks, like a necklace. Sapphire necklace on their chests, Krishna's arms. Something like that, perhaps. So the later authors in the Chaitanya Vaishnava tradition told about these incidents to explain how this baby and this boy, Kavi Karnapur, was the recipient of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And we could give a whole class about Kavi Karnapur's poetry. He had such extraordinary ability as a poet. So it is possible, as the verse says today, that even a child can understand Krishna in Vrindavan by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Any questions or comments? Good. Then we can stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Oh, Jayanti.
Sorry.
Janaki.
I have read something by Kavi Karnapura that was translated by Banuswami, and it was very, very detailed about the pastimes of Krishna and Radharani and the pastimes of Braj. And so where did he get that knowledge from?
Well, that's a good question. His father was Shivananda Sain. You'll remember that Shivananda Sain was rich. He took care of the devotees on their pilgrimages. He paid all their expenses, right, when they made their annual pilgrimage. So he was wealthy. And therefore he could educate his son. And that's what he did. He sent him to the best tutors and the best schools. And he became acquainted as a student with all the traditions about poetry that were written about by previous critics and poets. And so he really learned the topic. And he was able to use all the poetic devices that they had written about and taught. That's a great question. Thank you. Okay, now we'll stop. Hare Krishna, glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much.